Hello, hello, hello. Ash Teeter here, Lost Coast Populist. Hosting the Reading Between the Headlines news review. And today we're gonna take a little gander at some Chinese action of how they're like taking over cannabis in the U.S. It's kind of spooky stuff. I mean, just the whole presence of you know the Chinese I don't know if it's the military or at least the Chinese nationals they call them. But I remember a while back it was some people reporting that like Chinese troops were actually being like stationed in Canada for some kind of potential action. Maybe it was just an exercise. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but still kind of concerning, especially with our open border and how how many people on the known terrorist watch list are coming through, and then how many relating to this, how many Chinese nationals or Chinese people, men of military fighting age are coming through the border on a daily basis. It's on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis. It's concerning no matter what. But anyways, so the show notes here. We'll go through all the articles that relate to this subject. And so setting the premise here, it's like with fentanyl problem in the spotlight, is there another problem literally growing right under our nose? Are Chinese nationals taking over the U.S. cannabis black market? Why should that worry us? Hashtag China, hashtag THC. So, I mean, even if it is illegal stuff, should we be letting another country dominate it when we could be, have more restrictive measures at the border and have our own homegrown American, individuals working outside the legal structure of growing cannabis for, the states that it is legal in anyways. But anyways, this first article here, this is on July 28th. And it says 2020 anyways. Feds say illegal California cannabis grow was funded by the Chinese. So we're going back and looking at some of these older ones just to set like a kind of a history for the situation, and just to see if we see any patterns emerge when looking over stuff. Anyways, this article here, if you go to the show notes on the website, you can check out the full article, but here's a little breakdown of it. And we'll do that for each of the articles as we go forward here. But in a crackdown on illegal cannabis growth, federal authorities arrested 3 men in Southern California, revealing a scheme funded by Chinese money. Raids on 7 homes in San Bernardino County uncovered 200 pounds of processed marijuana and 3,000 plants, sparking concerns over foreign investments in states where marijuana is decriminalized. A real estate agent, backed by millions wired from China's Guangdong province, probably murdered that, sorry about that, allegedly spearheaded the operation, amassing properties and funneling money through shell companies. This incident adds to previous cases where overseas funds supported illicit marijuana cultivation in states with legalized cannabis, highlighting concerns over foreign involvement and the challenges prosecuting such cases. But yeah. And next we have Chinese nationals operate nearly every legal indoor marijuana farm in the largest U.S. county, Sargent says. This is published March 2nd, 2023. Okay, so not much has changed here. Just looking at a little pattern we've seen so far, it's it's kind of alarming, right? Kind of alarming. Beep. But anyways, this is from Fox News. The last one was from the Associated Press. But yeah. This one looks like it has a video too. But anyway, it says the largest county in the U.S. battles illegal marijuana grows, with Chinese and Mexico nationals largely behind these operations, as revealed by San Bernardino County Sheriff's Marijuana Enforcement Team. They served over 2,100 search warrants, seizing cannabis valued at $1 billion since 2020, with recent busts unearthed large-scale operations worth millions annually. Chinese nationals dominate indoor cultivation, while the team suspects Mexican cartels' involvement, yet definitive proof remains elusive. Despite immigration challenges, enforcement efforts have significantly reduced the number of illegal grows, signaling the progress amidst the county's intensified crackdown on these operations. But anyways, I'm going to check out the little video we've got of this here. We'll do that. Let's see if we can. That, switch over to the full screen, see if that'll load, see how many kind of
81 contestants, 81 categories.
Don't need to listen to that. Oh my goodness, it's an ad, it's peacocks, they're dancing, it's the voice of that dude. Amazing. Rob Lowe, yeah. Anyways, past the commercial and maybe here.
County Sheriff's Department, and I am currently assigned as the sergeant, one of two sergeants on the marijuana enforcement team. Indoor hydroponic marijuana is the best quality, and at one point it was selling for almost $2,000 a pound. So you're talking about, for an example, you could say you have a house that's capable of producing 500 pounds 4 times a year, and then sell that 500 pounds for $2,000 a pound. And if you get caught, it was a $500 fine. So it was, it's a simple profit and loss. There's a lot of money to be made in the marijuana world. I believe that there are Mexican cartels that are funding the marijuana grows. They're probably funneling the money up into California to purchase the property, to fund all the infrastructure for the marijuana grow, whether it be greenhouses, chemicals, generators, whatever it takes to run the operation. But we have not been able to definitively prove that any particular cartel is involved. We can't make that link as of yet.
I don't know. It's funny.
Most people talk about gangs. They
could
think
it be,
about,
the Chinese government itself funding it to, destabilize the U.S.?
We don't see the gang tattoos. We don't
is it just another facet of that? Just like the fentanyl could be something like that? I don't know.
Mostly what we deal with are either Mexican nationals or Chinese nationals are our two largest groups of people that we deal with. So the Chinese nationals are huge in the marijuana cultivation world. My best estimate is probably 97 to 98% of all of our indoor marijuana cultivations are run by Chinese nationals. Back in 2019, we got involved in a year-long investigation where we were able to prove that Chinese nationals were bringing in money from China, purchasing houses in the Chino, Ontario area, and turning them into marijuana cultivations. And we worked very closely with federal partners on that one, and we were able to successfully prosecute that case and seize all 7 houses. You can see these grows from miles away, and that's why citizens report them to us. So they either try and not be there when we're there, either they'll try and work at night and not be there during the day, but generally there's someone tending to the grow during the day too. So when they see us coming, they run off into the desert, which usually doesn't work out too well. Like I said, there's no place to go and no place to hide. So it's a foot pursuit, and we catch them and take them back, and they're arrested for their crimes. On the indoor marijuana cultivations, they try and mask the odor that's going into the surrounding community. They try and mask the number of air conditioning units that they have on the house, and try and make it look like someone's living there. But there are methods that we use to detect them, and so far we've been pretty successful.
Well, back to the main feed here. Oh, there we go. Back here. There we go. So now. To go to the okay, yeah. We lost a tab there. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's see. So we were on the second one there. So the third one here. Border Patrol sending migrants to unofficial camps in California's desert. And this relates just to the uptick of it, just because of how many unvetted people are coming across the border, and many of them being the, the Chinese nationals being discussed here. So, like, brings the question of, like, they come here, even if they are, just looking for jobs, they show up and maybe there's not, maybe they're not qualified, or they don't speak English, so they can't get the jobs they were thinking they're going to get when they come here. So they turn to, other things, and they end up working on some guerrilla grow out in the hills, Hello. Let me see here. Trying to get the audio sorted here. Just give me a second. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay, that's right. Without trying to port out the speaker. Hello, can you hear me? Hey there. Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah.
Who is this?
Jimmy Donald.
Jimmy Donaldson? How's it going, Jimmy? You got any thoughts on the illegal grows with the Chinese nationalists?
I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty odd. And I mean, it's what I'd heard before was like mainly just like Mexican cartel stuff, and there was Russian and Hmong, and recently I'd heard from someone I knew there's in that working in that field that it was like some of them were actually funded by the Chinese military, which is definitely concerning. Hello? Okay, but anyways, thanks for calling in there, Jimmy, I guess it was. But anyways, Southern California's Jacumba locals raised the alarm on the U.S. Border Patrol that delivers hundreds of migrants into unofficial camps, some on private property, amid dropping overnight temperatures. The migrants arriving from various places are directed to wait by the Border Patrol after crossing the border, hoping it's the first step towards securing visas or asylum. Activists and locals decry the humanitarian crisis, citing inadequate support for and expressing dismay for the situation's tragic toll on both migrants and the property owners. These migrants arriving through the gap in the border wall find shelterless camps enduring harsh desert conditions without adequate aid. Border Patrol directs them to stay put, otherwise they face deportation, fostering distress amongst diverse groups seeking refuge. But is that always the case? I mean, yeah. And they say they're seeking refuge, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like when they're not getting vetted till like some years, like I heard a story recently, like where one lady, she got scheduled to be have her asylum claim heard by a judge in like 2032. So that's how far they're kicking these down the road. But yeah, but despite outreach efforts by community members and volunteers, the lack of government assistance exacerbates the strain between both local and migrants, leading to heightened concerns with winter approaching. And that does have to be miserable no matter where you are. And desert in the winter is no fun. Yeah. But the ongoing cycle of arrivals and deportations. Hello? Yes.
Alright, do you like beans on your toast?
Do I like what?
Beans on your toast.
Eggs on my toast?
Beans.
Bees on my toast?
Beans. Like what they do in England.
Oh, beans on your toast? On my toast? Yeah, I've never tried beans on toast before.
Especially when it's got the pork in it.
Oh, that's maybe I'll give that a try sometime. What brought that up on your mind?
I don't know, I just really wanted beans and toast.
Oh, cool. Okay. Is there anything else you want to add, or did that just pop into head and had to put it out there?
I just wanted to tell you about beans and toast.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. Is anything else you wanted to chat about relating to what we're talking about on the show? Or okay. Well, thanks for calling in. Have a good one. Anyways, moving on here. Next one says, Chinese crime groups illegally growing marijuana in California. And this is from 2018 again. So we're kind of jumping back and forth here, but we're getting through the Cali stuff first. That was the main point we were trying to do here. United States prosecutors allege that a transnational crime group reportedly funded from China purchased homes in Sacramento and turned into large-scale marijuana cultivation sites. Federal agents seized over 61,000 marijuana plants, 200 kilograms of processed marijuana, and firearms from 74 homes and 2 businesses. Officers this was during a 2-day operation. The syndicate allegedly used Chinese funds for down payments via wires from the Fujian process. Unknown again. Okay. Hello again, unknown caller.
Did you know
Did I know what?
that is
Well, I appreciate the zeal of the unknown caller, but I suspect they might just be a troll caller trying to augment their voice. I mean, with each call in, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm going to answer other unknown callers. So the next one that calls in unknown, it's probably not going to get answered, So if you're the unknown caller, you're going to have to find a different phone number to call in from that doesn't say unknown for the next one. Yep. None of that. Okay. Anyways. But yes. Chinese funds down payment from Fujian process converted these homes into massive marijuana grows distributed nationwide, particularly in the eastern United States. An investigation since 2014 tracked millions from China being used to purchase these homes, leading to civil forfeiture actions against the 100 Sacramento houses. A move Sessions sees as a crucial tool against organized crime. But yeah, that was back when Sessions was in office, working with Trump, and I guess he was doing something to combat this stuff, I don't know exactly what Biden's admin and their Department of Justice is doing to combat it, but we'll see here. And this one is even going for a little further back. This is in 2017. Been going on for a while. U.S. police arrest 50 Chinese in raid on $80 million illegal marijuana growing operation. And this is U.S. police have arrested at least 50 Chinese nationals and seized up to $80 million worth of marijuana plants in a crackdown on a massive illegal growing operation in Washington state. So now we're jumping out of California, but it's going back in time a little bit, according to local media reports. Prosecutors suspect that the growers in the northwestern United States operated a syndicate that sold products to East Coast cities such as New York, where prices are much higher than the West Coast. The Washington-based Chinook Observer newspaper reported that Monday, which was the 7th of December, 2017. Just amazing right there, huh? Yeah. Anyways, this one, back to current time, jumping forward. 12/4/2023, hundreds of illegal Chinese-owned marijuana operations taking over Maine. Okay, so different state. Over the past 3 years, numerous illegal Chinese-owned marijuana growing operations have arisen across Maine, prompting concerns about safety hazards and leak to organized crime. Law enforcement recently shut down an illegal grow operation in Franklin County, uncovered a larger issue of illegal operations tied to Chinese nationals. State officials, frustrated by vague enforcement laws, raised concerns about the lack of clarity on who would enforce laws against these illegal operations, highlighting safety hazards, neighborhood disruptions, and potential ties to criminal activities. So yeah, when it comes, that's one concern right there. Going back to the beginning of the article, it's like, why should we be concerned about this? Well, like the point they're making in this article is that it gets down to a jurisdictional issues, like who's going to pursue enforcing, these violations, these, illegal grows by foreign nationals, that the crime they're committing. I mean, does that fall to local law enforcement? Does the DEA step in, or is that like an Interpol thing? I don't know. Stick your names in a hat and draw. I don't know. But anyways, move on here. See what else we got. This is November 10th, 2023. So yeah, still pretty current here. Chinese running more than 100 grow operations in Maine. And this is, once again talking about Maine. In rural Maine, over 100 illegal marijuana growing operations by the transnational criminal organizations have emerged, characterized by distinct features like properties purchased by Chinese individuals, strong cannabis odors, commercial growing trash, obscured windows, extensive indoor growing spaces, and constant heat pump use. These operations, flourishing amid Maine's legalization of recreational marijuana and federal attention on fentanyl. And that was kind of the point we also made in the beginning here. It's like, hey, the spotlight's being shined pretty hard on fentanyl right now. So maybe they're just using this as an opportunity. Like, no one's looking at the pot anywhere. We're going to get in and we're going to exploit it. And odds are they might be shipping, any illegal profits they make out of country back to their families to, oftentimes support them in their home country. But let's see, significantly impacted by the state's cannabis market. To combat this issue, Maine lawmakers are evaluating legislation to empower law enforcement at state, county, and local levels to tackle these criminal organizations behind the illicit growing operations. So Maine is taking it upon themselves to solve the jurisdictional conundrum and say, hey, we're going to take care of this in-house. We're not going to draw straws with the DEA, Interpol. It's happening here. We're going to take care of it here. That kind of makes sense, But anywho, let's see what else we got. This is November 24th, 2023. Also, law enforcement looking the other way as illegal Chinese grow operations cause havoc in rural areas. This report. This is also in Maine. This is from the Western Journal, but it was actually just a reprint of a Daily Caller article by Jenny Taylor. And she's got a little video, so we'll see what she has to say here.
Hey, this is Jenny Terr with the Daily Caller News Foundation. I'm out here in rural Maine with the Maine Wire today, and what we're seeing is an entire takeover of Chinese and foreign illegal marijuana grows in the area. This is a rural area. It's, near a daycare. This is the grow operation. You can smell it right here. It reeks of marijuana. It reeks. All of the windows are boarded up. There's a car that is there. We've talked to people in the area that say the cars are from New York and Massachusetts, not from the area, but are always here, and that there are deliveries that go in and out, and that's really what happens there. But again, it just reeks of marijuana. And then not only that, but you have the schools and you have a daycare right here where you can tell that this is a place where young children are cared for. It's very disturbing what we're seeing.
Very disturbing, yes. Now we've got a first-time chatter, Gamer Jam on Twitch here. I just wanted to thank you for putting a comment in here. And they say, how poor people spend their money shouldn't be anyone's business. Meanwhile, people are trained to love how rich, or part of the ruling class responsible for poverty, spend their money on countless oversized boats, multiple houses, overpriced clothes, etc. Yeah, and I'm not trying to say that, people should be or poor people should be shamed on how they, if they choose to buy marijuana or cannabis products, or if they, even grow cannabis to try to get by in this ridiculous economy we're all trying to get by in. I'm talking about, and that the focus of this episode is kind of about, these Chinese nationals or people from other countries coming in and taking over that niche that even if it is considered illegal in this country, maybe it would be better if we had Americans doing it. That's my thoughts on it anyways, instead of having, people from Mexican cartels in here, flooding our forests with their illegal grows, or the Chinese operations, or, Russians or whoever else. I mean, it should be Americans doing it, no matter what part of this financial void we're filling, whether it's over the table, under the table, whatever it's doing, it should be Americans doing it. That's my thoughts on it. Anyways, moving down on this one here. Yeah, this talking a lot about indoor grows, but there's definitely, I'm sure there's a lot of the outdoor stuff going on too. Rural Maine grapples with around 270 suspected illegal Chinese-run marijuana grow operations. Yet despite community alerts, law enforcement appears unresponsive, according to an investigation by the Daily Caller News Foundation. Department of Homeland Security warnings estimate these operations generate $4.37 billion in revenue, potentially funding further criminal activities or being sent back to China. Like, that was what I was saying. They might be sending it back to their families there. Gamer Jam says, I doubt we will get a Ubi soon, but it would be since disabled and do not have work currently. Yeah, that's beyond disability, and not working is tough. That's for sure. I know what I mean. I live with multiple sclerosis and I'm on disability as well, so I can commiserate there with you, buddy. Anyways, let's see. The role in local power disruptions and concerns for community safety is law enforcement appears to be inert despite repeated calls for intervention. So this article might have been before Maine had decided to come in and direct its local law enforcement to actually intervene and take on these types of grows. Oh. Autistic. Gotcha. Police suspect massive church marijuana operation was run by a Chinese foreign national. This is published 4 weeks ago on December 10th, 2023. Law enforcement officials confirmed the arrest of Ruyan Huang, I probably murdered that, a 50-year-old Chinese national, for running a massive marijuana grow operation in the Tennessee church, labeled as the largest in the county's history. Huang, reportedly in the U.S. on a green card, okay, at least he's pure legally, that's good, faces drug charges, including maintaining a dwelling for cultivating controlled substances, with a bond set at $155,000. This bust adds to a trend of illegal Chinese-backed marijuana operations spreading across the U.S., paralleling major drug busts in New Mexico, Maine, and where the Border Patrol identified up to 270 illegal grow operations. This sophisticated operation in Indian Mound, Tennessee, involved around 2,000 plants in a complex growing environment. The law enforcement faced potential booby traps during their search. Gotta watch out for the booby traps. And then we're on to December 27th, 2023. Why is China growing so much pot in America? And this is from China Uncensored. And it does have a video here, but we'll read the little summary of the article first. The Chinese Communist Party has been using drug warfare to weaken the U.S. as part of that drug warfare. They're setting up illegal marijuana grow sites all over the U.S. In this episode of China Uncensored, we look at illegal Chinese grow sites in Maine, where they become so rampant and why authorities aren't cracking down. So it seems like the authorities were gearing up to crack down since this article is written. Maybe they've done it, maybe they haven't. But they are making the point that I made earlier, too, that, the Chinese Communist Party uses drug warfare to destabilize America. And this is, just like the fentanyl, this is another one where it's like, hey, that marijuana can be destabilizing, even if they're just doing it monetarily, where they're taking, taking this little niche that Americans were doing, illegal or legal, whatever it may be. And then they're, removing the profits that were going back into our local communities and shipping it back overseas. And then, investing it in who knows what. Maybe they're, investing their profits that they make on the pot or the marijuana in the U.S. to, bring more fentanyl in to even further, pretty much kill people, which is really disturbing. Got another Gamer Jam comment. It says, when did we decide as a society that those who are in poverty are responsible for fixing poverty and not the folks profiting from them? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's the solution either. I mean, that's why just like we're seeing in things like Germany right now, getting a lot of people, kind of protesting this this globalism movement where you got all the billionaires coming together, deciding that all us little folks are gonna, be, what is it? You'll own nothing and be happy. That's what Klaus Schwab says. Yeah, everybody gets to live in their little box and have your VR and ride your electric scooter, and to hell with the gas vehicles, and all these rich assholes get to fly around in their private jets and their yachts and all that. But it, because they have the carbon credits or the whatever to offset their spending, and but not all us, we won't have the carbon credits to ride our scooter past the corner store. That's as far as we go. But yeah, anyways, there's a video here to this China. Why is China growing so much pot in America? Well, check that out real quick. Open that in a new tab so it doesn't let's see, how do we do that?
One simple but brilliant trick to
Vernon Central High School, how may I help you?
I'm calling to help you, actually.
Really?
Chinese agents are flooding the U.S. with weed. And everywhere they set up their illegal grow operations, they come with horrible crimes, like slavery. So why won't the U.S. government stop it? Welcome to China Uncensored. I'm Matt Gnezda, filling in today for Chris Chappell, who is currently undercover fighting international drug cartels. Now, if you've been following this channel, then you're probably aware that China has been waging a drug war on the US, especially with fentanyl. It's become the leading cause of deaths in the US for people 18 through 45. But Chinese drug cartels are not just pushing fentanyl, they're also making marijuana illegally directly on US soil. And even if you smoke weed, you do not want this weed. A couple years ago, we did an episode about how China is starting to take over America's cannabis industry by exploiting marijuana legalization in some states. If you want to learn more about that, click on the link below. But it's getting especially ridiculous now in rural Maine, where Chinese marijuana grows are taking over. Now, I'm guessing you don't often think about rural Maine. In fact, you might even be wondering, isn't all of Maine rural? I think it is. Anyway, what I do know is that the rural Maine police are not doing much to stop these illegal grows. It's become increasingly clear that the CCP itself has a hand in it.
We've tied these groups directly to organized crime out of China that are also linked to not just high-grade marijuana black market trafficking, but to homicides, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, worldwide money laundering. And we've also tied some of these exact same farms that I just described to people who are linked to the Chinese government.
And it's incredibly widespread. In the largest county in California, Chinese nationals operate nearly every illegal indoor marijuana farm. Now, some state governments are aware of what's going on. In Oklahoma, for example, the state attorney general has created a task force targeting illegal cannabis grow operations. In addition, since 2021, Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics agents have shut down more than 1,000 illegal marijuana farms, made more than 200 arrests, and seized over 700,000 pounds of black market marijuana. The Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics also reports having 3,000 of nearly 7,000 licensed marijuana farms under investigation. But in Maine, illegal cannabis grow operations are growing. According to a memo leaked in...
Yeah, but we're not going to watch the full 10 minutes of that. But one point that he made that I didn't think to mention earlier is that, you know, with these Chinese national or, you know, possibly funded by the Communist Party, the CCP, the Chinese military, like what kind of level of like health, like or health concerns are they, you know, structuring their grows on? Like are they, what kind of chemicals are they using on these plants? Do they really care about the consumer on the end? I mean, is it, I know that some guerrilla growers, even, you know, if they're, you know, U.S. citizens or they're Americans, they also might not, you know, do the whole organic thing. But what do you think the likelihood of the, you know, CCP funded, you know, guerrilla grow or indoor grow is going to have some, you know, some healthy end product that reaches the streets? I don't know. I kind of doubt it myself, but so yeah, another thing to be concerned about, just health, you know, the viability of the end product. Is it a quality product they're making? I kind of doubt it. But then also, this is from 3/21/23. This is Politico. The growing Chinese investment in illegal American weed. This one says, law enforcement recently discovered nearly 9,000 pounds of cannabis, valued at nearly $15 million, during a raid in Antioch, California, linking 4 houses searched to China. Chinese investors, owners, and workers have become significant contributors to illegal marijuana production across the United States, particularly in Oklahoma, California, and Oregon. Law enforcement flagged around 2,000 Oklahoma farms for potential ties to Chinese sources, with approximately 75% of shutdown operations linked to Chinese investors or organized crime. This rise in Chinese funding for cannabis production raises concerns about potential ties to the Chinese Communist Party, prompting congressional interest into the scrutinizing Chinese ownership of farms and agribusiness to curb the illicit cannabis activities. So yeah, once again, someone else is writing that, hey, maybe it's concerning that there's like Chinese communist potential cannabis farms that are sprouting up all across the country. I mean, this is, at least 5-6 states so far. It's, beyond ridiculous. It seems like it's everywhere. It's, probably just about as bad as all the farmland that Bill Gates is buying up. Pretty bad stuff. But this one is August 16th, 2023. Illegal Chinese marijuana grow operations are taking over Maine. And so this is, another one about Maine. And this is Jenny Terra again saying, my latest exclusive, illegal Chinese marijuana grow operations are taking over Maine. Leaked Border Patrol memo says there are 270 suspected properties in the state used for illicit grows, producing an estimated $4.37 billion. So we might have had all that before, but we'll read it over real quick. Federal memo obtained by the Daily Caller News Foundation reveals that Maine is experiencing a surge of suspected Chinese illegal marijuana grows. Estimated $4.37 billion revenue. Law enforcement identified 270 properties. So yeah, we'll skip that because it sounds pretty much like a rehash of the other articles, just, from a different source. And this, Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. And this is, doesn't say who it's from there, but there's a link to the article. Are hordes of military-aged Chinese men being brought into the U.S. in an attempt to destabilize our society? So, this isn't even talking about the cannabis issue of it. This article is focusing on just the Chinese military-aged guys that are crossing the border, and some of them who are apparently going on to grow cannabis illegally around the country. But this article suggests that a significant increase in military-aged Chinese nationals are entering the U.S. illegally and allegedly engaging in criminal activities. Oh, wait. I need to turn the Zoom on. I did not activate that here. So let's start up the Zoom meeting. Let me see here. What can we do? Where is that? Oops. Sorry. I need to just start that at the beginning of the show because, yeah. I always forget that. So I assume it would just automatically start, but we'll see here. We'll see if anyone will hop on the Zoom. Now the Zoom's open if anybody wants to hop on. Sorry about that. Anyway, so reports also hint at coordinated migration efforts and the presence of Chinese nationals preparing to cross the U.S.-Mexico border. While no definitive connection is proven, the article implies a potential plot to destabilize the U.S. by infiltrating with military-aged Chinese individuals, hinting at a future conflicts with China. So it's all these attempts to destabilize our country, financially, and then with the drugs, just destabilizing the youth of America, just and societies in general. Anyways, got another one. There's massive numbers of military-aged Chinese men lining up in Panama to illegally cross into the U.S. So we'll read the little article summary first here. It says, this article describes a situation in Panama where large groups of military-aged Chinese men are reportedly headed towards the U.S. through the open southern border. It highlights concern about strained U.S.-China relations, mentioning potential conflict over Taiwan. The piece questions the U.S. ability to defend Taiwan and suggests that these Chinese men might be part of the People's Liberation Army sent to infiltrate the U.S. in preparation for internal attacks during potential hostilities. It urges Americans to consider their readiness to defend their country, emphasizing the gravity of contemplating using firearms for self-defense in case of internal threats. Overall, it expresses apprehension about the possibility of war and its potential ramifications within the U.S. And, while they're trying to suppress it all at all these angles, sale of firearms has went up just exponentially through COVID, through all the nonsense in the Biden era. It's been, people do not feel comfortable with the way things are. Especially with the rising crime from, people, unchecked individuals coming across the border and just being shipped into cities because, it comes in, they think they're going to have a job and then they don't. And so they're on the streets and they got to do something, it's just even if they're not part of some, planned, CCP thing, they're going to end up turning to crime if they don't get, some way to make money to eat, to survive. It's just kind of a natural thing there. It's, what people do when they don't eat. But anyways, we're going to watch a little video here from this article. We'll see what it's all about down in Panama there. Let's see. Down, way down.
China? Hello? You go China? Hello, China? Yeah? Hello? Hello, China? Yes. China. America? Yeah. Okay. China. America? California? New York?
Oh no, no English.
No English. Peace. China? Yeah.
Well then. So, yeah, I don't know what happened to my Twitch stream, but it went offline for some reason. I do not know there, huh? Yeah. Yep, and YouTube's still going, but not the Twitch. I don't know what's going, but I am recording, so I'll post it on Rumble later. But weird that the Twitch stopped working. Anyways, so we have another article here. Is December 26th, 2023. And this one says U.S. border sees nearly 10,000 migrant crossings per day in December. Highest ever recorded as massive migrant caravan continues to trek towards the border. So yeah, and they had, groups of Chinese nationals. They got, caravans. They got, it's just off the hook what's going on at the southern border. And that's leading into these, illegal grows where it got Chinese nationals and others just, seeping into the country and taking over the cannabis market as well as other things. But anyways, this is, border officials witnessed an unprecedented surge in migrant crossings with over 9,600 daily arrivals in December. A stark increase from November's 6,800. The surge extends across the southern border, with Eagle Pass, Texas, Lukeville, Arizona, and Tijuana, Mexico seeing an overwhelming migrant influx, hitting nearly 20,000 migrants in a week in Lukeville. The surge's strain has prompted lateral decompression, shifting migrants to less busy areas for processing, leading to a crisis in cities like El Paso, Texas, where a vacant school is repurposed as an emergency migrant shelter. A looming migrant caravan estimated at 6,000 to 8,000, possibly swelling to 15,000, adds to concerns about resources collapsing at various border points. And yeah, that is no good at all there. Let's see. I think that's a video here. Let's see what this is here. Yeah, they got a little video there. Got a little video on that one. Let's see here. And of course, it has an advertisement. Skip that.
Primero Dios, Señor, y después...
Yeah, well, at least there we're seeing, families. Not that it's, not that it's a good or bad thing, but it is definitely better to see actual families than just, a bunch of military age young dudes. But, like, that's kind of what we see there. Yeah. Just a bunch of military age guys there. Not a whole bunch of families, doesn't look like. Yeah. Kind of concerning there. A few women and kids here and there, but mainly military age guys. Not the best situation there.
Como un buen futuro para mi hija, o tal vez cuando ella esté grande, ponerla a estudiar y sacarla adelante. Sí.
¿Cuántos años tiene su hija?
Solo tiene 5 meses.
5 meses.
5 meses.
Ha sufrido mucho ya.
Sí, ha sufrido.
But yeah, there we go. And this is on to November. Oh, so this is, November 30th, 2023. How Chinese marijuana operations cropped up in small town America. This is Maine officials say they see some 3,400 marijuana plants. This is back to Maine. And 111 pounds of processed marijuana at a June property in Carmel, Maine. Identified as one of the many unlicensed marijuana grow operations in the state run by Chinese networks. Carmel, Maine is an astronomical electricity bill was the first tip-off that something unusual was going on at a former chicken farm in the town of 3,000 people off Interstate 95. And yeah, there's a paywall, so I didn't get too much onto that site. But we've got a video at the end here, but we're going to go into discussion mode and kind of talk about, what we've learned here. So yeah, what is exactly going on with the Chinese nationals? Yeah, it's kind of concerning here that, on multiple levels. There's the financial level that, they're coming in and, these could be U.S. American boys out there growing the weed in the indoor or the outdoor, whether they're doing it legally or illegally. It could be Americans doing it, taking the risk to do it. And at least keeping the money local, despite the legality of the situation. It's possibly the CCP doing it, funding, even more fentanyl coming into the country. Or just, sending the money back to China to their families. It's still it's, bleeding America in another way. It's, what they say, 1,000 cuts to bleed us dry, something like that. But But then there's also another issue brought up was just the health issue. Like what is the health, what is the focus that these, illegal Chinese ran marijuana cultivations, what kind of health standards do they have in producing this product, Is it an organic thing? Do they pump it full of a bunch of chemicals to get a quick result, cash out sooner? Kind of likely. I could see that happening, and it happens in the amongst U.S. citizens too. But I could definitely see that when it's just some cartel doing it. They don't care about how healthy. And looking back, the marijuana smuggled across the Mexico border, they'd soak it in gasoline, shove it in tires and stuff, and all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah. But what other concerns are there? I mean, it's just, yeah. And there's the buying up of the land, they could be used, that land could be used for producing food. Like this one said, that they're growing this weed at an old chicken farm, why isn't someone producing chickens there, Instead, we're paying to have chickens shipped from overseas from, and who knows what the health standards of the chickens we're importing are when we're, yeah, there's a lot of things to think about, a lot of concerns around this issue. I mean, but yeah, if you have any concerns, feel free to, go to the show notes article on the lostcoastpopulist.com. And you can leave a comment there, or you could comment on the video on our YouTube or Rumble channel later, and we'll check that out. But anyways, we're gonna check out this little clip from Bannon's War Room with Steve Robinson describing Chinese nationals running massive grow operations in the U.S. and they're pretty much the same thing we've been looking at. It might even be in Maine. We'll see here, but. We will see here. At least that opened in a new tab. So I'll go there. See if we can full screen this. Well, that's louder than it's all get out. Gonna have to turn down a little something there. Let me see here. Why are you not going full screen? There we go. That's probably why. Because it was an ad. That's why. It was being super loud because it was an ad and it wouldn't go full screen.
Up at the main wire. We had him on a couple of weeks ago about the CCP, all these Chinese nationals that have these marijuana, 300, I think, marijuana farms. One got busted today, Steve. Give me an update from the main wire.
Yes, thank you for having me on. This facility was actually in Wilton, Maine, and it was located in the building that used to be the Bash Shoe Factory. They're not making shoes there anymore. And according to the general manager who was there when we interviewed him, there were 4 Chinese nationals, not from Maine. One was from California, one was from Washington State, one was from New York, and one was from Massachusetts. And they were operating a very, very large and sophisticated marijuana grow operation out of this property. The general manager told me they were paying ballpark $30,000 worth of rent. My back of the envelope calculations say they could have been making anywhere from $12 to $15 million a year just selling marijuana at that facility, and likely manufacturing it as well, refining it into extracts. It's one of 4 other facilities that the Maine Wire has identified in Wilton alone, and within 20 miles of that location, there's probably 2-3 dozen more. It's a huge problem in Maine. The Department of Homeland Security estimates that there are between 270 and 300 of these facilities in Maine. I think based on my investigation, they're undercounting. They think there are 800 nationally, so Maine is really punching above its weight when it comes to allowing Chinese organized crime to manufacture and distribute drugs in our state.
Remember, organized crime, the Tongs were the partners of the CCP and always have been the partners of the Chinese Communist Party because they're a criminal gang too, just one that has state power, what they call it. Were there any? Were there any? This is going to be a tell. So, were there any arrests?
There were no arrests made in this investigation, and I would not want to
no arrests.
quarterback a successful
That's
police
funny.
operation
Kind of fishy, huh?
that, took $1 million worth of illegal drugs out of circulation and put a big dent in their operations here. But I might have waited until the people were there tending their plants to do the bust, and I might have sat on the other facilities that are connected in Wilton alone and seen what happened. But based on the amount of security cameras that were present at the site when we visited it, I'm 100% confident that the operators of this facility know that it was raided and watched in real time as it was raided, and have probably gone to ground now and hidden at one of the many stash houses that are also located in the state of Maine. So the prospect of ever finding out who was operating this site, it's very, very unlikely that you're going to be able to find these people. The owner of the building actually confirmed on the record for me that he cooperated with law enforcement, said he had no knowledge of what was happening in the building, and he wouldn't be required under Maine law to confirm whether or not these people had a legal license to grow the plant here in Maine. It's just not part of the laws. It's one of the things that they're doing is really taking advantage of our lax recreational marijuana laws and our totally unregulated medical marijuana laws. We've basically given cover. I mean, you couldn't design a better legal system for a foreign criminal organization to operate in. And when you combine that with this institutional allergy to doing anything that could remotely be construed as racist, then you get a perfect storm where these guys can operate with impunity, which they've done for 3 years. As I said, there's probably more than 300 of these locations throughout the state of Maine. And this is now the third time that there's been a bust on one of them. Only 4 people have been arrested and charged as a result of this entire operation.
Steve, where do they go to the Maine Wire to find out more details about this? I want to make sure everybody gets access to this because this is part of the chemical weapon assault on the United States. This is in unrestricted warfare. Fentanyl and the marijuana are both chemical weapon attacks on the American population. Where do they go, Steve?
Yeah, our handles on social, everything is at The Maine Wire, and they can visit our website, themainewire.com, and we'll continue to report on this. There's more coming.
Yep. It looks like, it feels like maybe they did this one in conjunction in catching by. Very suspicious, the law enforcement here. Very suspicious. We're calling them out. Very suspicious. I just don't understand why they didn't round up the 4 guys. This is something they do. This is something they do with the cartels all the time down in the Rio Grande Valley. Have a bus, take $1 million off the table on something that makes 12 to 15 a year, but nobody's arrested. And it shows the population, we're doing something, we're arresting people. Anyway, Steve Robinson, thank you so much. Maine Wire, great breaking story. We'll be back to you with more updates.
Yeah, why didn't they do something? Why weren't there any arrests? Yeah, I think someone slipped a little change in the scene there. Yeah, someone got some money. If the CCP's behind these grows, yeah, there was some legal tender greasing some wheels there. But we got another Cottonmouth. No work, no pay on the Twitch. Yeah, that's generally the way it works, huh? And also from Cottonmouth, inflation would go through the roof with Ubi. Stupid idea. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for commenting, both of you. Anyways, yeah, gonna leave it open for one more time. If anyone else wanted to call in and say something, the number's on the bottom of the screen there. But besides that, it's pretty much a wrap as far as the material I have for this episode. So thanks for anybody who tuned in and watched. And yeah, well, maybe I'll catch you next time. And thanks to people who watch this later, because it will also be on YouTube and Rumble, and it'll also be linked to the article on the lostcoastpopulist.com site. So if you do do enjoy this, or yeah, go ahead and drop the like, drop a follow, whichever, and thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time here.